Okay, good Erev Shabbos, everyone. As what a special Shabbos this is. Shabbos Mavarchim, Shabbos Parshas HaChodesh, Shabbos Chazak. I mean, so many things are going on this week. Baruch Hashem. And we are sponsored, as always, by the Fisher family. The Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shalom Ben Avraham Aleinu Pera Bas Ruvain. The Neshama Sherav and Aliyah. Also, Ilu Nishmas David Ben Chaim Lefu Shalem for Yomis Mechayisor Yaakov Ben Bas Yaleah. Schus of Avram and Yom Benish Ben Malk Yudis and family. By Yoel Klugman and family for their Parnasa Gesundheit and Nachas Lefu Shalem for Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadel, Rivka Bashir Aleah, Devorah Bashasha Bina, and Aaron ben Sarah and Meir ben Chayesar. They should have Refuah Shalema B'Seich Shar Cheli Yisrael. We are holding at Mishna Ches and Mishna Tes Shloisha Dvarim Rabbi Tzadok Metame. Three articles Rabbi Tzadok holds is susceptible to Tuma. V'Chacham Metarim. The Chacham say it's Tar. Masmar HaShulchani. In the first pshat of the Rav, he learns this is the nail that the money changer's scale hangs on. And the question is that nail a keli of its own? Or then, according to Rabbi Tzadok, it would be Mekabel Tuma? Or is it part of the money changer's scale, and it's only Mekabel Tuma if the money changer's scale becomes Tameh? V'orin shel geroisais. This is the cabinet of the bean makers. They hold a lot of bean flour in, and in order for it to be Mekabel Tumah, it's something that has to be metaltal molei v'reikon. It has to be moved when it's full and it's empty, and this is stationary. And since it's stationary, according to the Chacham, it's not Mekabel Tumah. Rabbi Tzadok holds since it's moved in order to repair it, it is Mekabel Tumah. And the next one is really interesting. O Masmer shel Even Shois. This is the nail of the sundial. The sundial, which of course was the ancient clock, had notches on the rack for different hours, and the nail in the middle is what the sun reflected on, and it casted its shadow. So Reb Tzadok holds it's considered a keli. The Chum say since you could use anything for it, it's not important enough to be considered a keli, and therefore it's not Mekabel Tumah. Now Mishnah Tes tells us Arba Dvarim, the following four items. Rabbi Gamliel Metame, v'Chacham Metarin. Rabbi Gamliel holds his Tameh, the Chacham holds its Tar. Kisui Teinui shel Matchos shel Bali Batim. The scrap metal. So they used to have like a recycling pail of metal where they put in the scrap metal, and it had a cover. We're talking about the cover. This cover was it wasn't flat, but rather was, I guess the right word would be concave, right? And concave, right? That would work, right? Concave. Yeah, it would be concave. So it had an interior base kibble of its own, but of course it wasn't used for that generally. It was used only as a cover. So again, Rabbi Gamliel says since it had its own base kibble, it's Mekabel Tumah, but the Chacham holds since it's used primarily as a cover, it's not Mekabel Tumah. The second thing is Uslui HaMagrodos, the special nail that was used where they hooked upon it the utensil in the bathhouse, which they scraped themselves with. And the question is if this hook is a keli unto itself and is Mekabel Tumah. And the galmei clay matches. Galmei clay matches are unfinished metal utensils. They were finished, but they were still lacking etching or engraving. So is that enough to make them considered not nigma malachtai and Mekabel Tumah or not? And the fourth item, this is very interesting. The tabla shenech l'kol. This is an earthenware tray that has a rim that broke. Now the din is, the bigger piece remains a title of the keli, and it would be Mekabel Tumah. But here it broke in half, 50-50. So in such a case, the opinion of Rabbi Gamliel is efshar l'tzamtzem. It's impossible to get it exact. One piece is bigger, and since we don't know which one is bigger, both are going to be mekabel tumah. Both are considered a keli. However, the Chacham say it's efshar l'tzamtzem, and therefore, since we say each one is a half, neither is a majority, and neither are mekabel tumah. But that if it was broken like yakatz at the Seder, where one piece is bigger than the other, clearly, echad gadol ve'echad katan, so I gadol tamei, the bigger one retains the status of a keli and is susceptible to contamination. By katan tar, while the small one is not a keli and is not susceptible to contamination. We want to remind you that Motzei Shabbos, two gorgeous blot of Agarata Gemara starting at 10 p.m. on Motzei Shabbos. Zoomdaf.com, reading code RMMW, all in capital letters. This coming week is a special start time because of Mechiras Chametz, so our daf will start at 8:15 this coming week, and we want to remind you that if you haven't caught it yet, there is a for the Shabbos table on Pekudei, and there is a shir already for Pesach called Even More Important Than Matzah, 5785. That's already on to anytime on YouTube, on Kol HaLashon. We want to thank you for joining us and wish you a wonderful Shabbos.